What do you hear outside when you first wake up? Is it a bird? Listen. In the dark just before dawn, I hear a catbird. Some mornings it's a different bird that sings first. I'm always interested to know which one will lead the day. You gotta love birds, right? I've got clothes with them on it. Do you have any shirts with birds on them? This video tells a few facts, asks some questions, gives hints for identifying birds, explores, and listens. Fact: birds evolved from dinosaurs. They're the dinosaurs of our time. Fact: birds are smart. Try this challenge. So we've got a little piece of rice cake. It's a piece of food, and we're going to put it into this, right? But you can't reach down in there, right?
No.
So you can't get at it. Yeah, exactly. Pretend that you can't really get at it. So the question is, how could you get at that if you're hungry? Like, say you're a bird and you're hungry and you want to get that piece of food, but you can't get down in there.
Because
how would you figure it out?
Because birds don't have arms like this.
Right.
So they're pretty. Some are small and some are big.
Yeah, so they can't get at that. So how,
Yeah.
if you were a smart bird, how would you figure out how to get that? Maybe you want to stop the video right now and set that experiment up for yourself. The idea for that experiment came from this book, What It's Like to Be a Bird by David Allen Sibley. It's at the Cook Library now. Recognize this? The pictures in this book are life-size. And they have neat facts about different things. Like, look at this. The feathers. How feathers can be waterproof. You knew those ducks, the mallards. You've seen those. Maybe you've seen loons. Look for them on Chicora Lake, White Lake, or Bear Camp Pond. The young are born now. Some are riding on their parents' backs. The grebe, the eggs before the hatch, they actually make some peeping to communicate with the adults. And the adults respond by turning the eggs more often. A 6-pound heron can swallow a 1-pound fish. That's like a 100-pound person swallowing a 17-pound fish whole. If you've ever watched a bird walk like a great blue heron, it looks like the knee is bending the wrong way. But actually, that's the ankle. You know gulls, right? You see them at the beach every summer. Pigeons are around these parts, of course you know them. The cool thing is, did you know they can fly 2,500 miles to find their home? You bring them out to Utah and they could find their way home. What an amazingly smart bird. Hummingbirds, have you seen any this summer? The ruby-throated would love to have nectar. Maybe you should feed them. 4 parts of water to 1 part sugar makes a nice solution. Put it in a feeder and they'll be there. And check this out. Look at that tongue of the hummingbird. Did you know it has little feathers on the tip to grab the nectar in the flower? Ravens are amazing birds. They're around here. We sometimes hear them in the village making their guttural rah, rah call. In this page of the book, it talks about the feathers. All the different kinds of feathers. Feathers are amazing structures, and only birds have them. The robin is a kind of thrush, and we love our thrushes around here because of the beautiful songs they make. As it turns out, as this book explains, thrushes have 2 different vocal cord or syrinxes, so they can actually sing in harmony with themselves. Do you have bluebirds? Have you set up bluebird boxes in your yard to try to attract them? We have a bunch of sparrows in our area. This is a chipping sparrow shown here. Very common. You can see them out and around with a red cap. Have you ever thought about it? Why do birds lay eggs? What a great question. Swallows are spectacular flyers. These barn swallows, look at that beautiful forked tail. And the cool thing about them is the nests, different nests they build with mud and such. It's hard to imagine a prettier bird than the Baltimore Oriole. Their nests hang from trees. It's like a basket. Let's talk about nests. In the spring, when there are eggs in them, we want to leave them alone. But at this time of year, if they've been abandoned, we can look for them. We went looking for nests.
What do you find?
The cardinal nest.
Imagine you're a female cardinal, and this is your nest. How it would look going into your nest. We also found an empty phoebe's nest up on a shelf under the roof. Oh, there's the phoebe itself. And there's the catbird nest, bird that woke me up in the morning. And some birds live in holes in trees or boxes. Did you see that? Did you see that bird fly? That's a house wren. And if you were a female song sparrow, this would be the trip in the spruce tree to your nest. You know this guy, right? About identifying the birds around us, we often compare it to the size of a robin or the size of a sparrow. By the way, can you see why this is called a white-throated sparrow? And this is a white-crowned sparrow. And remember that cardinal? That's the female there. It's a little smaller than a robin. A mourning dove? Oh, about the size of a robin, as is the brown-headed cowbird. Or is it bigger, like a goose, right? Canada goose here. And these, great blue heron. Very big nests up in trees. Or is it big like a turkey in a field? Look how big those feathers are. Or you could describe a bird as being the size of a chicken. Do you know that the chicken is the most common bird in the U.S.? Talking smaller birds, here's a junco, about the size of a sparrow. And slightly smaller is this goldfinch relative, the indigo bunting. Even smaller are the warblers. This is a black and white that hit a window. By the way, what can you do about a bird that hits a window? Well, try and keep your feeders away from the window so it doesn't happen. But if one does hit it, just try to protect it, and it should wake up and fly away. This is a downy woodpecker that hit a window. And it's a close relative of this. Did you hear that? That's a pileated woodpecker. This is a young pileated woodpecker. Somebody sent me this lovely video, and I appreciate when people do that. With a young baby bird like this that's out of its nest, you should just leave it alone, and it'll find its way. Its parents are likely around. But back to talking about size. The smallest bird in our area? The ruby-throated hummingbird, our only hummingbird. Besides size, what are other ways to identify birds? Well, colors, of course. This rose-breasted grosbeak, its name describes it. Look at the bill shape. There's particular shapes that fit particular birds. These other grosbeaks, the evening grosbeaks, also have these big seed-cracking bills. And shape can be important. This brown thrasher, look at that long tail. The red-winged blackbird, on the other hand, smaller than a robin, but its name describes it, red-winged blackbird. But its female is quite different. This is the female, and they don't look the same, so that can be confusing. Sounds are another way to know birds.
Do you hear those calls? Sounds a little like a meow, right? It's a catbird.
And you have catbirds and these birds around too.
So right now, you can hear two of the common birds in our yard.
That dee-dee-dee is a red-eyed vireo. And the Peter, that's a tufted titmouse. That's a little girl. And that's the broad-winged hawk she tried to imitate. So listen in your neighborhood for birds. Like this house wren. It can be fun to write about your experiences and what you learn.
I'm 6. This is a board book I made. I love making books and writing letters. Hummingbird. The smallest hummingbird can flap its wings 80 times in 1 second. Hummingbirds eat nectar. Hummingbird babies are so small they are smaller than a quarter. That's pretty small.
So watch for birds, listen for birds, and share what you find. Here I was at Home Depot parking lot, and look what I found. a pair of merlins, a kind of falcon.
Is there some way that we could maybe make this, get that somehow, that food? Maybe that food could come to us a little bit?
I've learned that some birds' clothes sometimes put pebbles in, and then they go way up.
Can you show that?
Can get the food, yeah. But you need to use a lot of them.
Okay, let's see what happens. Whoa, almost.
Almost there.
Okay.
There we go.
Now you can get into the beacon.
Smart bird. Not a turkey. Here we hear the one other common bird that we've not seen or heard in this video. Listen for the chickadee. See their waxwings?